We're here on the first hole at Desert Canyon. We call this hole McDowell's because behind the green we have a view of the McDowell Mountains in the distance. This hole plays 373 yards from the back tees. You obviously want to avoid the water hazard on the left, and there's out of bounds on the right, so a straight drive is of importance here. We're standing in the fairway after our tee shot on the first hole, and as you can see, it plays a little bit uphill from here. This is about 130 yards. This is a position that you'd most like to be in. The shot does play a little longer, and the putting surface is kind of small, so if you're going to miss it on the right side. We're here on the second hole at Desert Canyon. We call this hole Climb because obviously it gradually goes uphill. The uphill's a little bit more than you think. It plays 190 yards, but it ultimately plays more like 210 yards. So make sure you hit enough club. We're here on the third hole at Desert Canyon. We call this hole Eucalyptus. It's a par 4 measuring 380 yards. The key to this tee shot is you want to keep your tee shot to the right of the large set of eucalyptus trees that are on the corner of the fairway. We've reached the fairway. This shot is 125 yards, but it's going to play more like 130 yards because of the uphill. We've reached the fourth hole at Desert Canyon. We call this Rattlesnake because of the way the fairway meanders, both left and right. It's a par 5 measuring 500 yards. Short by yardage, difficult by design. We've hit a perfect drive here on the fifth hole. We're left with about 230 yards to the green. We have to decide whether we want to give it a go or simply lay it up down the left side. Best strategy from this position for most players is going to be to hit whatever club they want down the left side to avoid the bunkers and palm trees. We're here on the fifth tee at Desert Canyon. We call this hole Slope because the fairway slopes from right to left. It's a par 4 measuring 375 yards. It begins a stretch of holes where opportunity exists. Make sure you keep your drive to the right to use the slope. We've hit a really good drive on the fifth hole here. You can notice how the ground slopes pretty gently from right to left, and it can make for a difficult lie. Best place to play this shot from is in the middle of the fairway or on the left side. The green is a very simple green from side to side and front to back, so putting on this green isn't a problem. We've arrived on the sixth tee at Desert Canyon. We call this hole BRONC because just on the other side of those bushes there's a local watering hole called Saddle Bronc. Par 4, 365 yards. As you can tell, fairway's rather wide open. Bunker on the left you need to avoid. After a really nice drive, you can see we've got a couple bunkers to contend with. When the pin's left, it becomes a little more challenging. This shot from here is about 100 yards, so you're going to want to be careful because the green does run away from you. Here we are in the seventh hole at Desert Canyon. We call this hole Underdog because we think it's a little better hole than it might initially look. It plays downhill from the tee with a bunker on the left and out of bounds over there on the left as well. After a wonderful drive on the seventh, we're left with a rather short iron to this green. The shot plays a little bit uphill because of the rise, and you want to make sure you get your ball on the putting surface from this position. We've stepped up to the eighth tee at Desert Canyon. It's a par 3 of approximately 150 yards. As you can tell, rather straightforward. That's why we call this hole simple. This is the ninth hole. When we reach this tee, we're going to immediately see a difficult uphill tee shot. We call this hole Epic because of how challenging it is. We've hit a wonderful drive here on the ninth hole. As you can see, straight uphill. Plays a lot longer than you think. We're here at 120 yards, but this shot's going to play a minimum of 10 yards longer.